Hello everybody and welcome to another executive interview series. That is the fancy name for interviewing some of the the best experts in the industry when it comes to online marketing, the internet game essentially. And I'm Jan, your host. Today, we're going to talk to Jennifer Sheahan. She's with FBAdslab, and that is a full-service agency, essentially, specializing in Facebook ads, Facebook pay-per-click. And she has worked with some of the best in the industry. You'll know them by name, and she's going to break this down for us today. So without further ado, let's welcome Jennifer Sheahan. And hey, we are live with Jen Sheahan. Did I pronounce that right?
You sure did.
Oh man,
good job.
Yeah, I've been thinking about the best way to say it, and I made it. That's awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on this call here. I know we actually had a chance to, briefly almost work together last year, I think it was, and then we met at, was it Trey Smith's software seminar?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to speak to you because, of course, this audience deals a lot with the online stuff, which is, internet marketing and traffic and conversion, and, of course, social media. And Facebook is a huge deal now with 900 million plus members, pretty large and growing still. And one of the things that I think I was very curious about, I heard a little bit about it at that event, but if we can start out maybe with some of the basics, if you can just share with me and us a little bit about your background, how you became how you became this master Facebook strategist and tactician.
Absolutely. Well, it started, basically, I love paid traffic. I just love how spontaneous, how instant it is that you can, have an offer or a landing page or a headline or something you want to test, and you can set it up, and within minutes you've got people, eyeballs on your site.
Yes.
And I just love it. I like it, just instant, SEO is fantastic, but paid traffic I just can't beat it. So it started, my love affair, if you will, with Facebook started back in 2008. I wrote an ebook about what I know, which I'm a child psychologist. And so what I know is kids and preschool kids. And I wrote a book, really simple ebook about all the questions that parents used to ask us about their kids. My daughter does this. Is that normal? How can I, do this? And I just wrote it up with all the answers that we would give parents. And I sold it for $17 and people bought it. So I set up this crappy little website and put a PayPal button on it, and people bought it. And I wanted to get more traffic to that. And that's how I found Google AdWords and Perry Marshall. And I learned all about Google AdWords and how to optimize my AdWords account. And then I stumbled onto some, a forum that talked all about paid traffic, and Facebook was one of those options. So I learned how to use Facebook ads to target my customers. And it was so much better for me than Google AdWords because not that many people were, I had maxed out, all the keywords that I was targeting. And I just wanted to have some more social context, and Facebook was perfect for it. And so I knew I could target, moms of, who lived in America, who had children, who liked certain things. And very quickly, it was clear that Facebook had so much traffic and so much volume that I became enamored with it and started helping other people, advertise their businesses. And I kind of kept it underground for a while. I didn't really come out of the closet, if you will, until 2010. So a couple of years, I was just running a lot of traffic on my own, affiliate offers and CPA offers, and a lot of, things like, Netflix memberships and stuff like that. And then in 2010, I started helping a few local businesses, and then word spread very, very quickly. And now we have a full-blown advertising agency called FBAdslab, where we run thousands of dollars of Facebook ad traffic every single day for companies large and small across the globe.
Wow, that's an incredible breakdown. And you mentioned something that caught my ear, which is the passion for it. You were obviously learning as you went, but you had a drive. And I see that a lot, the idea that, if something doesn't work, I'm going to give up now. No, in your case, you probably hit a lot of sort of failure points and stepping stones to your success, but you didn't give up. And one of the questions I had about that is, I get this a lot in our community as well, is, hey, I'm not technical. And in your case, you came from a child and psychology background. How did you get into the technical aspects of that? Did you have some background in sort of the technical areas?
No, I did not. I'm sorry. I have to apologize for the sound. I don't know if you can hear, but I'm in the inner city of Chicago.
Oh.
So there's a lot of background noise. So I apologize for that in advance. But there's an L train and a dog barking and all kinds of stuff.
No worries.
Anyway, I have no technical background at all. I had no idea how to build a website. And I had no idea how to, I remember very early on, it was so frustrating for me. Because somebody was telling me how to do something, and they said, it's easy, you just iframe it up. And I went, oh, I don't know what that means. and so many times people said to me that I was in the wrong place. And they said, oh, the mommy bloggers are over there, and you're in the wrong place, sweetheart. And I knew I wasn't in the wrong place. I just didn't have the knowledge or the skills to do what I wanted to do yet. But the thing that got me through was the drive, because I had a very, very strong drive, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And that was, I wanted to be able to replace my husband's income and be able to support my family. So it wasn't just dabbling. I was passionate and driven, and I had to succeed. So I think that having a burning desire and having a burning, something in your gut that makes you plow through any challenges makes it a lot easier, because, it doesn't make the challenges go away. But if you have a really, really strong reason and you run up against somebody saying, well, just iframe it up, and that's the only way through, well, then you need to learn how to iframe it up. And I still don't know how to iframe it up. I asked for somebody to help me, and they did. But I come across that kind of stuff all the time. And now the things are becoming much easier online, and now you can create videos really easily, and there's just new software coming up every single day that makes everything that, back in 2008 was quite a challenge is quite easy now. And so I think that has leveled the playing field a lot. Was that the question you asked?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's a mindset thing for sure, the passion, the drive, and the failure is not an option kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and you've got to find out what that is for you, and whether it's, you've just got to find it out. And I find every single person I know who's successful has a reason, and they have a reason that they keep going. And it's just to make some money is not enough, because it's much harder than that. And I work a lot, and I work long hours, and I go through a lot of hard stuff to keep this, to keep my dream alive, I suppose, to make my vision become reality. And I know we all do. You do, and I do, and everybody I know who is making any money on the internet is doing it because they have that drive.
Yes.
And so you got to find that for yourself. For those of you, if you're not sure what that is, find it.
Yeah, no, that's just brilliant advice, and thanks for sharing that. It's so much of this gets into the sort of, give me some traffic today or by tomorrow and show me some of the technical stuff. But in fact, mindset is important. And in fact, my next question, Jen, is around sort of these struggles. And many are building out, either businesses, basically mom and pop stores, the kitchen table kind of idea. True entrepreneurs are building out from home. But as you look at this and sort of cover the last few years, was there a single best strategy that you could teach others, or one thing, or have you pretty much captured that there? Sometimes I get these questions myself. I hear it. I need to be positive. I need to have a drive. I need to have sort of a system in place. But is there one single best strategy? I guess is my question.
I think so. I think something that really helped me early on is that I ignored 99% of what I heard. Oh. So I found one person, or actually I found two people who I trusted, and I listened to everything they said. I bought all their stuff. I followed all their blogs. I tweeted them on Twitter. I followed them on Facebook. I just followed those two people, and that was it. And then everybody else, I unsubscribed from all the crappy email lists, and I just cleared out my inbox, and I put my blinders on, if you will, like a horse, and I just focused on those two people because they were they both resonated really well with me and who I was and where I wanted to go. and I liked what they said and I liked what they taught. So I bought everything that they have, and still in one of their high-end mastermind programs now. And I think that helps because there's so many different strategies and so many different people talking at you all the time online, that if you can, you can choose one person or two people to listen to and tune everybody else out, I think you'll do much, much better.
Yeah, no, that sounds just super smart. There's so much of this, look at me, shiny object syndrome, and frankly, noise, the signal to noise ratio, that whole thing. So no, that's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. And I wanted to ask a little bit about Facebook. Specifically,
Yeah.
we're going to talk around advertising today. Of course, we'll touch on Facebook and some of the marketplace changes and things like that. But what would you say, when people ask you, I know Facebook has an advertising system, but I am familiar with sort of the more traditional, perhaps, banner ads, Google Display Network or Content Network, as some would call it. And of course, you have Google AdWords. How is Facebook different, if you could summarize that for us?
Absolutely. Facebook is completely different from Google AdWords. It's in that it is social context. So with Google AdWords, you can create an ad, you can bid on keywords, like let's say you sell, queen size mattresses in your town. Well, you could bid on, buy queen size mattress Chicago, and then your ad appears whenever anybody types in those keywords. And so you pay every time somebody clicks on that ad, but you know that they've typed in those keywords for your ad to be shown. So that's Google AdWords. Inside Facebook, there aren't keywords like that. The keywords are more about what people like or what they're interested in. Their social, entertainment, political, educational, marital status, that kind of stuff is what you're bidding on. You can't bid on buy queen size mattress Chicago.
Wow.
So what you have to do instead is figure out who is most likely to buy a queen size mattress in Chicago. And then you have to find out what else do they like to do, where else might they be, what else might they read online, and then you can set your ad to appear on the pages of those people who fit that demographic profile.
I see. Okay, so that is different and a different thinking. I think I have heard the expression, that may be actually Perry, who talks about sort of the right side marketing and also is FB for me? The idea that not all businesses will fit on Facebook. Do you agree with that? Or the question really is this, are there any business that should not advertise on Facebook?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you say advertise on Facebook, like Facebook advertising can be successful for most businesses. Whether you need to have a Facebook page is another story. And whether Facebook will allow you to advertise is yet another story. So let's talk a little bit about those categories. So if you own any kind of business that is adult related, so any sort of sex industry business, or something that is related to something that you might not want your great Aunt Jean from Florida to know about, then chances are that's not going to be a huge success as a Facebook page. Another friend of mine said just this past weekend that if you wouldn't wear it on a t-shirt, like if your customers wouldn't wear your business name on a t-shirt, they're probably not going to be, hitting like on your Facebook page. Like, it's got to be something that people are passionate about, interested in, enthusiastic about, that kind of stuff. So adult related stuff is difficult. Also, anything financial is also quite difficult. It's kind of an uphill battle for a Facebook page, like, your accountant or your mortgage broker or, somebody who deals with insurance. Like, those kind of industries are quite difficult to get a lot of traction on a Facebook page. Just because there's not a whole lot to talk about. Unless you have, like, I was working with a client on the weekend who has an insurance agency, but they have tons of community stuff. They're very involved in their community, and they have like community events and barbecues, and they sponsor a marathon and that kind of stuff. So that's great, because all they have to do is take their community stuff in the flesh and move that onto Facebook and start putting videos and photos and status updates from what they're doing. But see, they're not talking about their insurance on their Facebook page.
I see. That's an interesting and useful distinction. And also, I guess, in all of this, and we'll cover it a little bit more, Jen, when we come into the more tactical stuff here in a few minutes, because testing is definitely part of any online or any marketing game for that matter. But in this regard, Facebook, of course, as Google and so many others, there's services that come and go, and of course now there's a lot of talk about Pinterest and things like that. But for Facebook, there have been many changes. Of course, we have security, privacy policies, look and feel, timeline, application development, and of course the app directory and just features, Facebook ads themselves, the interface stuff. And so somebody who's been watching this and perhaps dabbling a little bit, and they've tried some things, and they're not ready to give up yet, and they're sort of moving forward. What would you say? And I'm thinking about, I'm just pulling this a little bit out of my head right now. If somebody is new to this and they've been trying, and perhaps they have, let's say that they have a local, like a day spa,
yep.
and they want to advertise on Facebook, what and how should they start out? What would be like, 3, 4, 5
Great.
things that they must make sure that they do to be successful? And I guess finally in that, how do you determine success, really, thinking about impressions and CTRs and all this fancy stuff?
Right. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to have a reason for me to click your ad. Oh. So if you own any sort of a local business, just advertising your business like a billboard is not going to be enough for your ad to be successful on Facebook. So you want to make sure that people have a reason to click. So by a reason, I mean you want to have a special offer, a specific product, a limited time special, a video you want them to watch, a form, like a book you want them to download, or a free offer or something, a trial, or some kind of a date related thing.
Yes.
So, like we've got, coffee shop, some of our members are own coffee shops and restaurants, and they only advertise one day a week. So they choose one day in the week, they set a $5 or $10 budget, they have their ad display for, just for that day, and they only offer one thing that week. And that's it. And then they turn their ad off. So you don't want to have, if you have a local business, you don't want your ad to be showing up every single day and just have it generic and just have your brand name or your picture or something like that out there, because it's just not going to be a good use of your time or your money. Because people see that ad over and over and over again, and they stop clicking it, and it's not very interesting. The one benefit of that is that your brand name's getting out there, but that's kind of an expensive way to get your brand name out there. Yeah. And once a week is enough to get your brand name out there, and then people will click it, and they're much more likely to take action on your site if they don't see your ad all the time. Especially, like, one thing we've noticed is, like, if I see your ad this week and I don't click it, and then it's gone, and then it reappears next week, I'm like, oh, there's that ad again. I was looking for that. I wanted to, check out their, French pastries or whatever it is. And then you click the ad, and then you're much more likely to take action because you knew that they took it away last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a great point. Yeah, I could see that. It sort of works to the psyche there.
Right, exactly. And you never know. That ad might not show up again. So you don't want you want to grab it while it's there. Yeah. And that's the kind of feeling that you want to, the Facebook advertising, the community, that's what you want them to see or feel when they see your ad. They're like, oh, I better click that quick before it goes away.
Yeah.
And for a local business, that'll save you a ton of cash than advertising every single day. So that's one thing. You want to have a reason for them to click, like a special or a promotion or a free offer or a trial. Works very well for local businesses. Come in and, get a free appetizer with your main meal, or every Tuesday you can, say this coupon code and get a free cappuccino, or, come in and meet Mary, and Mary will, a free eyebrow wax with every manicure or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's great. In fact, you mentioned save bundles of cash. Sort of rounding out some of the strategic angles here. In the Wall Street Journal, May 16th, to be exact, GM, General Motors, the headline said, GM says Facebook ads don't pay off. And I'm just reading verbally here. And they, of course, pulled millions of dollars back, and their budget, of course, GM is a huge organization. I saw that their U.S. ad spending is about $1.8 billion. But I'm just curious. Why do you think GM pulled away from Facebook? I mean, 900 million now and counting people on Facebook. is that too big to ignore? I mean, there's a whole branding component, but ultimately it feels to me like they pull back because the ROI or the payback is not there. And I realize this is a big step up from a coffee shop at $10 a day running an ad, but I just wanted to get this spectrum into our discussion.
Yes. Look, I love talking about this, but I do need to say that it's just my opinion, and I certainly don't want GM to be chasing me for my comments. It's purely just my opinion. However, and I have no affiliation with their advertising agency or whoever was running their Facebook ads. But what I do know is that a lot of big companies take their billboard advertising mentality and bring it over to Facebook, and it doesn't work. A lot of these companies are used to having newspaper ads, TV ads, billboards on the freeway, that there is no measurement or tracking of the success or failure of those campaigns. And they just put up a gigantic billboard on the freeway, and they just hope that people will take action based on seeing those billboards. And then if you try to do the same thing on Facebook, you can track that. You can see how many people click your ad. You can see how many people actually end up, entering their email address or coming into your dealership to buy a car based on those ads, because you can track it, but you can't track a billboard. So I think the thing is, billboard advertising isn't going to get direct response results. Yeah. And that's what it all boils down to.
Oh, that's a great comeback, because in truth we see a lot of this, and the smaller entrepreneurs in the marketing arena, probably people like myself, take issue with some of that in terms of how big these budgets are, and they are not doing the correct tracking and the billboard advertising concepts you mentioned. That's great. I appreciate that. In fact, it sort of rounds out the top level strategic. I wanted to ask you just a few questions around some tactical areas of Facebook, and one right off the bat, which I also get a lot, in fact, dealing with it, is what's the best bidding strategy? You have the pay-per-click model, which is, you pay for a click, versus the CPM based or impression based. What would you say to that?
This is a very timely question, because that's just completely changed in the last 10 days. So Facebook have just changed how you bid for ads, and you no longer have a choice. So you can bid, if you're sending traffic off Facebook to a website, you bid cost per click. And if you're sending traffic to Facebook on a Facebook page or a landing page on Facebook, you're bidding CPM. So the choice, you used to have many more options, and now you don't. So the bidding has changed, and now you can bid by objectives, which is you basically get to choose. Do you want your ad to show up to people who are most likely to click your ad, which is CPC, or most likely to like your page, which is CPM?
I see. And from I guess this is probably an it depends answer, but because frankly, people like to feel in control of, hey, I can show my ads as much as I want and just only get charged for a click, or the cost per click. But is there it's recently changed, but is there a model that tends to work better than others, just in sort of general terms?
Well, we recommend all of our new clients, we recommend that you test everything, because some people do very, very well keeping their traffic inside of Facebook, and other people do quite well taking their traffic off Facebook. And it just is going to depend on what your strategy is. Now, for example, one high-end strategy might be to take that traffic off Facebook, and when you take them to that landing page, you have a Google remarketing code planted on that landing page.
Yes.
So when you pay for that traffic, you're paying CPC, cost per click. You take them there and make sure your landing page is very, very, very simple, like very simple. And I mean plain, like just a video, and that's all, like no headlines and no opt-in box. And it's just a video, and with a giant play button. And when they hit play, the opt-in box appears at some point in that very short, 2-minute video. The opt-in box appears, or a register now button appears for a webinar. And that's it on your landing page. You want to have terms of service and a privacy policy at the bottom of your landing page. But other than that, you don't really need anything. The more simple it is, the better your conversions will be.
Oh, that's great. In fact, you mentioned remarketing. a friend I was talking to uses perhaps a little sneaky technique where he actually pays for ads in Facebook and sends it to another very highly trafficked site that he has done some affiliate or partnerships with, and asks them to put the remarketing code on there so that his ad shows up everywhere based on a Facebook effort, which is kind of interesting.
Right, exactly. So that way, once you're paying for the click once, but you can follow up with them even if they don't opt in.
Oh, yeah.
And Google remarketing in conjunction with Facebook is extremely powerful. Yeah. So that's one of the benefits of sending traffic off Facebook. But if you have a Facebook page, and I highly recommend that everybody listening to this get a Facebook page quickly, because the benefits just keep expanding as the days go by. There are so many fabulous options for Facebook pages, and they are free, completely free. And you can, have somebody on your team or you can update them with pictures and videos related to either a topic, like a general topic. If you love, outdoor yoga, or you love organic cooking, or whatever it is you love, or whatever it is your customers love, you can create a Facebook page about that topic. And you can create it about your business or in your own name or in a product name. It's really powerful, and then you can grow those fans, and then you can also advertise to those fans.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great, Jen. And actually, I talked to a friend today who was asking, which I think is very timely, and I get this too, is people are liking pages, right? And so and a strategy that I've used, and I think it still works today, is where you could say, okay, so I started with nothing, and now I have 5,000 likes to my page, and I can use what's called it's basically a connection targeting, to where maybe initially those clicks were costing me more money. Now I can, for those 5,000 likes, I can run a new campaign and just target those people at a much lesser cost. Is that still true now?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so you're exactly right. So if you had 10 of those pages all about related topics related to your product or service,
yes,
or affiliate offer, then you can advertise to those fans and for a much cheaper rate, and they don't know that you're advertising just to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And because from Facebook's perspective, like you have cultivated those fans, so it's cheaper. But yeah, they don't have to know that it's you.
That's right. And now readers and listeners will know because we're talking to Jen. So that's great. In fact, this the notion that you have to test online and test everything you do. And from your experience, if you could summarize, I know this is hard because often campaigns can be, unique and also different. But if you were to draw some summary points from what you've seen, what type of headlines or copy or maybe even pictures tend to work the best?
Absolutely. They're headlines with a question, headlines with a question mark, or a percentage or a number work very well. Oh. So asking a question in a headline on a Facebook ad is very effective. And sometimes I just tack on a question mark, even if it's not really a question, just to increase the click-through rate a little bit. So you definitely want to test that. Of course, it's going to depend on everybody's, on your own market and your own product, your own service, and you want to test everything. Don't just take my word for it. But we do thousands of dollars of traffic every single day, and this is what's working best for us now. Ad copy, you want short, choppy sentences, like 2 or 3 word sentences. If you have big, long sentences, people don't take the time to read it. But short sentences, people can read subconsciously. They just look at it and automatically their brain processes the information. Yes. So we found that to be very effective. So the shorter your sentences are, the more success you'll have. And for images, wow, it's going to depend on what you're offering. However, there are 2 or 3 things that I like to point out. So number 1 is a happy, smiling woman. And that just means, really, like, just Google the term happy smiling woman and look at the images, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. You just want a happy smiling woman looking directly into the camera, and she can be applicable to just about any product or service on the market. And people just love a happy smiling woman for all demographics and all ages, and it's a winner.
Yes, yes.
If the happy smiling woman doesn't fit your offering, you can use text as your image. So you can create a little image, 110 by 80 is the size, And you can create an image with text in it. And you could say, how to market to women, or how to lose weight, or how to, get a job, or whatever it is that you do, and use that image space as extra text, as extra headline space. And if you do that, you want to make sure that the background is either black or orange, or like a dark, deep color.
Oh, that's very cool. And in fact, I've seen some of those pictures, and I see people adding like a green, a nasty looking border, or a red outline border, or whatever. I mean, that's part of the testing, I guess.
It is part of the testing. I recommend that people start with straight up photos first and find some that work for you. And then you can add borders to extend the life of your ad. That's one of our strategies. Inside our membership, we talk about that, where you can, you start out finding like 5 or 6, happy smiling women that work. And then when you want to extend the life of those ads by adding a different colored border, that will give you an extra couple of days to run that ad.
Oh, that's great. And Jen, this is so awesome. I just have a few more questions. I appreciate your time.
Sure, bring it on.
It's really great. And in fact, this gets into the question really is one that I also grapple a little bit with, just to be honest with you, is how granular should you test? So here's what I did. This is perhaps a ridiculous example, but for the folks who are listening and reading, this is what I did is I went to the US, I picked city Los Angeles, I picked gender men, and under precise interests, I picked horses for handicapped, because that just came up, and then age 30 to 60. And of course, you have the idea that you could use advanced connection targeting, but I didn't use that. But that particular sort of breakdown or filtering yields about 20 people for about $1 per click in the USA. Now, that's obviously very targeted, and it's 20 people. But the question really is what is the recommended audience size? That's the number that shows on the right side when you adjust parameters. 20 is low, I know that, but 100,000, 300,000. How do you sort of think about this and strategize and actually perform this targeting?
Such a great question. We aim for 200,000. That's our sweet spot. Okay. So 200,000 gives you enough volume to keep your ad alive for more than a couple of days, and it gives you enough narrow targeting that you can, what's working. So if you're way over 200,000, then you're just too broad, and if you're way under that, you're going to have to change your ad every 5 seconds.
I see.
Because it'll be shown too often, and people get sick of it, and the click-through rate drops. So with 200,000 seems to be a great little sweet spot for us.
Now, in that example, which may not be super applicable, but horses for handicapped. So let's say that it's very low. Then I sort of move it up and I say, well, it's not just men. It's all, like men and women. Then I break out of LA and I go basically U.S. broad country, and then I realize, well, I'm up to say 5,000 or 10,000, which is not even close, and then I just start adding countries. So Australia, Canada, UK.
I'm going to stop you there. Stop.
Yeah, is that a good strategy?
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there, because no, that's not what you would want to do. I wouldn't recommend that. So is that okay that I'm stopping you?
Oh yeah, that's exactly my question. Is that smart to do? So thank you for stopping me.
So I wouldn't recommend that, and here's why. I highly believe that you should keep your country targeting completely separate. I was chatting with Armand Morin on the weekend, and he and I agree passionately about this topic. We didn't agree about a couple of other things, but we agreed about this, and that is that country targeting should be completely separate in a different campaign.
Okay.
And so that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They just throw all English-speaking countries in together, and the bidding is completely different for different countries, and the time zones are completely different. And if you're targeting the UK and the US and Australia all in one campaign, I recommend you go and change it quickly, because you'll find that one of those countries, it gets a much lower cost per click, and they're probably a much higher click-through rate than the others, and you're just dragging the others down. So separate that out. Now, in your case, if you really have to have horses for handicap as your only targeting option, I would be looking at how can we expand on that? Because that's just one keyword that you found that is applicable to your product and service. My guess is that there's probably other related keywords that we just don't know about.
Yes.
So my advice would be to go to quantcast.com, alexa.com, similarsites.com. places like that to find out what other blogs or authors or TV shows or healthcare situation, healthcare companies, or what else is related to Horses for Handicap topic. And who are these people, and what else would they do, and where else would they go, and that kind of stuff. Do they need a specific, do they have other things that they're involved in? And you very well may find that there are other similar topics inside Facebook that could help you expand your reach.
Yeah, no, that's great. And also that research, as you said, that's interesting, Quantcast, Alexa, and also perhaps even searching within Google,
Yes.
well, in Google, but also within Facebook for existing groups and places that might exist, and do some research, not just throw it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be looking into it. And I'd also be careful about expanding to all of the U.S. Because there are a few states like California and Texas and New York are very good ad clicking states. So be really careful and see if your customers are really in the whole of the United States, well, then that's fine. But if you find out that your customers come from predominantly 3 or 4 or even 5 states, then narrow it down and only advertise to those states. It will save you a fortune on lost impressions in, Idaho or Utah or Nevada or places where maybe people are not buying your stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think you mentioned that at the event that we were at, that those are sort of hot click states. And you mentioned in international. If I was to run an international specific one, let's say I'm doing one in Australia, and I don't want to bucket them like you said, but to keep them separate. But is it cheaper to bid internationally? Is it can you get more traffic? Like in Google, there's guys who are doing incredible stuff, is the technical term, in Google internationally, and they don't even focus on the U.S. And get a lot of traffic. But some of the targeting and some of the options perhaps may not be the best, but what's the deal with Facebook these days on international traffic and bidding, etc.?
International traffic is fantastic for Facebook, as long as you understand the culture that you're advertising to.
Yes.
If all the other ads are in Spanish, or if all the other ads are in French and yours are not, or whatever, you really do need to understand what you're getting yourself into. But clicks can be so much cheaper. And I have several of my students who are advertising in South America and just doing so well, and their clicks are costing $2 and $3. I mean, 2 and 3 cents, not dollars.
I was going to say.
Oh, that's funny. 2 and 3 cents per click, and that's just excellent now. I mean, that used to be sort of commonplace a while ago, but now it's really difficult to find those sort of cost per click. So. Yeah, if you have a worldwide product, definitely investigate your options in the non-English speaking countries.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's a great tip, and actually write. So in Spanish, you would write the ad in Spanish, or mix it up, some English and Spanish, perhaps, trying to test different markets, even internationally, with language.
Yes, absolutely. I would have a native speaker translate your ad. Because they'll get lingo and things like slight changes. I'm sure you could imagine if somebody, who was not a native English speaker tried to write an English ad, it would sound a bit choppy. So if you have a native speaker write your ad, it would be, you'd get like little lingo or slang or those kinds of things, which would help get people's attention too.
Yeah, so just taking an English text and filtering it through translate.google.com.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
It's not so good. Well, this is awesome. I have one final question as we come to a close here, Jen, and that is, you deal with this, you eat, breathe, sleep this stuff, which is so awesome. I sense the passion, which is so cool. But what is the biggest trend or shift coming on the horizon, perhaps in the next 6 to 12 months, especially with we're talking about Facebook here, and not just Facebook advertising, but broadly. They're a public company now, a lot of scrutiny here, a lot of discussion around, hey, is it really a value at $35, $20? Should it be more like $10, etc.? But they obviously have their sets of issues, like frankly we all have. But what's the Facebook's biggest worry and perhaps goals? So sort of one is perhaps a little more negative in terms of what they're faced, and other is, hey, here's some great goals that we're seeing for this business and for our business. And also, Jen, I should say, that means for the small business owner and people to take leverage from, as far as you see it.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing now is Facebook pages are growing every day, and I think that's a big opportunity. And if people don't understand how to use a Facebook page for their business, they should definitely get in touch, and I'll point you in the right direction. I don't build Facebook pages for people, and my company doesn't do that. We have people that we recommend to do that, but Facebook pages are an immensely undervalued resource at this point. And I think a lot of people are overlooking it, and it should be on your radar if it isn't already. There are great strategies to generate a fabulous audience of raving fans, and that's what we're focusing on now with our members and our clients. And so that's one of the biggest opportunities. The other thing I wanted to say when you were asking me this question is, I think the future for Facebook lies in expanding their reach beyond the walls of Facebook, similar to AdSense, Google AdSense platform.
Yes.
Now, I haven't heard or seen anything official from Facebook on this topic. So this is pure speculation on my part. However, Facebook has so much demographic data on all of us that it seems like it would be a tremendous waste if they didn't create some sort of AdSense type platform where we could have our Facebook ads showing on websites instead of AdSense.
Yes.
So for advertisers and business owners, that would be a tremendously powerful advertising option because of the targeting options inside Facebook that Google just does not have. So we could target people by gender, marital status, how many kids they have, their likes and interests and the blogs they read and the other things they like on Facebook, and it's just amazingly powerful, like what university they went to or where they work or what their job title is. And wow, I'm sorry, you can tell that I get all excited about it, but I just hope that comes true because that would be so excellent. So that's a really powerful thing. But on the downside, I suppose I probably should have started with the downside. But having said all these great things and sensing, how passionate I am about this, there is a downside, and that is that Facebook is very immature. And every single day I deal with, I won't swear, but, I deal with bad stuff. And it's frustrating because it's hard to get an answer. We have a Facebook rep on the inside, and it's still difficult for us to get, some solutions, some things fixed or whatever. You can get an ad approved one day and then submit an exact duplicate of that ad and it's disapproved the next day, and there's no explanation.
Yes.
And you could have all of your ads, like in your whole account, disapproved, and they end up coming back to us a few days later and say, oh, sorry, that was a mistake. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, wow, it's so frustrating. So I like to say the Facebook is like a newborn baby. It's really cute and it's really lovely, but it comes with a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of screaming and heartache and, dirty diapers and stuff. But that baby's going to grow up, and it's going to grow up faster than we can even imagine. And so the sooner you get on board, and if you can deal with the sleepless nights, you'll be happy in the end. That's the downside.
Yeah, well, I like the order of that, the positive, a little bit on the downside, but there's a lot of positives. And I think that this has been an extremely positive, both the interview, but also in terms of results and ideas and strategies that people can use. In fact, I know you mentioned FBAdslabs. Mm-hmm. But where can we reach you, Jen? What are some of the things you might even have in terms of URLs and access points that we can get for our readers and visitors?
Absolutely. So we can put up a link for people to come and find us. But our agency and company is called FBAdslab, and we are also on Facebook as well. So we share lots of cool case studies and questions, and I like to quiz my readers from now and again, everything, which ad do you think is going to do better, this one or that one, and everybody likes to guess and stuff, and keep everybody updated on what's going on there. That's on our fan page, which is FBAdslab.com. And we have all kinds of services for people of all different budgets. So if you want to learn how to run Facebook ads from beginning even if you're an experienced marketer. FBAdslab has an insights program, which is like a monthly membership and training program where we have live calls just like this every single month and videos every week about what's going on and how you can optimize your stuff to make it successful on Facebook. But we also have an agency, and it's a complete done-for-you agency, and we work with all kinds of companies, big and small. And some of our, you've heard about some of the people that we work with. I don't really like to go on and on about it, but we do thousands and thousands of dollars. Some of our clients are spending $7,000 to $8,000 a day with their Facebook ads. So it's pretty fun, pretty exciting stuff happening there, and we can help people from all walks of life, I suppose.
Yes, no, that's absolutely true. In fact, I can attest to that fact. You are the go-to resource for me, and I'm a member in the FBAdslab as well, and there's just a wealth of information, very timely, updated, and it's nice to, like you said at the beginning of the call, hey, pick one or two people, stay with them, stay focused, be inspired, drive your passion forward even more so, and stick with it, and the resources for materials and education is ongoing, but you got to have the right information from the right people, and Jennifer, you're one of those, and definitely a leader of the pack in this space. So I really appreciate it here today that you could spend so much time with us and answering all the questions. Any final comments or thoughts that you might have?
No, I think that we've covered Facebook pages pretty thoroughly, so that's just the main thing. I just want people to understand that there's a really big opportunity for all of us right now, and I'd love to see some businesses, taking the bull by the horns and getting out there and start connecting with their audiences and growing their audiences. It's a fabulous opportunity, so it'd be fun.
Yes, great.
Well, it's been great chatting with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the unrecord button.